Welcome to your mother.
Who is impossible. Or welcome to right
Fucking.
now.
We can post the link to the video so Alicia's comment made sense.
Yeah.
With this drummer guy who's fucking awesome.
And who says your mom's impossible.
It's
so
the best line ever. All right, I'm definitely posting the link.
Okay, well, in today's episode, we're going to talk about appreciation. John, I appreciate you.
Alicia, I appreciate you. Coconut,
thanks.
I appreciate you.
Coconut, you're appreciated. We have a guest with us. We'll interview her in a bit on appreciation. There she is. Okay. So, our starting off point, it's a Abraham Daily Quote. You want to fix this? Is that good?
Yeah, I'm on
Okay.
it.
Daily Quote, March 8th, 2025. Appreciation and self-love are the most important tools that you can ever nurture. Appreciation of others and appreciation of yourself is the closest vibrational match to your source of anything that we've ever witnessed anywhere in the universe.
Hell yes.
Appreciation.
It's perfect timing, not only because today is an Abraham Day, but because yesterday I was really settling into the recognition that the content of what's occurring in reality is pretty much irrelevant. It's only my emotional response to it. Any form of resistance is obviously not appreciation. So from that perspective, it's a really fun challenge to see if I can just play with everything all day long.
However, I wonder if, and this is kind of talking about Abraham step 5.
Mm-hmm.
If I encounter a form of resistance, being able to appreciate that resistance,
yes.
right? So looking at that resistance and being like, hey, here we go again. We're starting the process all over again, right? We're noticing something that we don't want, and therefore, it's going to inspire in us something that we do want, and so appreciating even the resistance.
Absolutely. And if you sit with things long enough, even like, say, physical pain, like a headache or like some part of your body aching, if you just sit with it and be like, it's kind of uncomfortable, but it's kind of fine. Yeah. The more I've done that with things, the more I've realized nothing is really a big deal.
I love this. And I remember one time, actually, it was in Sedona for Bashar in September of 24, and I was experiencing a headache. And I had a friend advise me on leaning into the headache, making the headache bigger, appreciating the headache, asking the headache, you're here for a reason. What is it? What's the message that you're trying to get to me? And figuring out how to appreciate that. And it was a new experience for me. And it amazingly provided relief. It was really cool. Temporary relief, I will be honest, but in that moment, as I was focusing on it, as I was growing it, as I was asking it questions, I could feel, it was that gratitude in that, like, engaging with it.
I was listening to a Rupert Spira last night where he was very clearly delineating that when you're confronted with something that causes a sensation or an emotion that feels not good, there's basically two choices. One is the Abraham choice of defocusing or turning the other cheek, looking away for it. And the other one is going completely into it and saying, fuck yes, welcome, let's hang out. Just saying yes to it. And I see those two strategies as the core elements of basically everyone's message, right? Abraham and Joe are more of the defocusers looking away. Bashar, Neville Goddard, and a few other people are more the go straight into it, say, heck yes, everything that's happening is benefiting me. I don't have to know how, but I can say yes to it and lean into it.
You said a word that was interesting that stood out to me, which was welcome. Tell me more about that word. Why did it occur to you?
It seems like the opposite of resistance.
Yeah, opposite of pushing against.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is space for you. Come on in.
Yeah.
I love that.
Like someone's making fun of you, you realize the content doesn't matter. You say, yeah, and actually I'm going to play with this too. Yes, and continue to do so.
And welcome. I love it.
Yeah.
What about, I've heard from you a third approach maybe?
Ooh.
Maybe it's like approach 2.5.
Yes.
Which was fuck that belief approach. Where does that fit in our options?
Good question. I like that you're bringing my past back to haunt me right now. I was hot.
As I remember it. I don't know. Maybe it didn't happen.
I was hot on that idea for a while. Fuck that belief. I would say it could go under the second approach where you're saying yes to it, perhaps in a curiosity or in an excitement. Like fuck that belief. It could be an angering fuck that belief, or it could be an exciting fuck that belief. Or fuck that belief.
There it is.
Yes, fuck that belief. Yeah. Interesting opportunity for reflection. But yeah, because I realized sometimes when I was saying fuck that belief, there was an anger rising up, and then I recognized you're going further away from it. But when a true excitement and interest pops up, I could see that definitely as leaning into it.
Well, and maybe that's that. Maybe it's the first 15 seconds, right? Like, fuck that belief. Oh, fuck that belief. You know, it's that transition point. It's that you can have the reaction, but then you can evolve it into a response.
That is fucking magnificent. Is this a mirror? Am I talking to myself?
Hello.
Are you my new guru? That's a profound and powerful recognition. Yeah. You can be the angry fuck that belief in the first 15 seconds because, as everyone says, you want to have acute, intense emotions. Or Joshua was always saying that. That's your superpower. The more emotional you are, the greater your superpower, because the more you can recognize and then adjust.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just that time frame and recognizing you have 15 or so seconds to play with and recognize the anger before it carries you.
Yep. Is it a drop of that emotion, or is it dwelling in that emotion, right?
Yeah.
This is a feeling reality. We're here to experience emotion. So take that drop and then transform it into something else.
I feel inspired to rework my notes. Every day I'm reworking the notes that I read over in Apple Notes because I love Apple. I'm in love with Apple. I'm not going to hide it.
Hey, that's appreciation for something.
It is.
Back to our original quote. So I'm curious, what are some of the ways in which you express appreciation, or how do you experience appreciation in your life?
That's such a phenomenal question, and I've had several conversations with people about how they define appreciation, recognizing we don't all define it the same way. And the ultimate point I'm at right now, for me, appreciation is just a fuck yes. You look at something and say, fuck yes, that feels good, that looks good. I love the aesthetics of it. I love go any direction, the abundance of it, the freedom of it, the feel of it.
The structure of it.
Yeah,
The
all of that.
cuteness of it.
Yes, the cuteness of it. Yeah, there's like hardly any way to really even describe it other than fuck yes. But for a while I was looking at everything and being like, thank you, thank you. But then I realized I was actually just practicing unworthiness, because if I'm like, thank you for this glass of water, rather than owning it as the creator of my own reality and saying, fuck yes, I love a big tall glass of cool water.
Yeah. I think for me, the current iteration of appreciation is that acknowledgement of the role of creator. All right, I'm creating this. I've created this. About a week ago, I had an experience where I was definitely playing the victim role. I was looking at part of my creation and I was going, I suck at this. I'm not good at this. This isn't what I want. Blah 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 blah. And then I look up and I'm literally in this gorgeous canyon, right? Like a beautiful weather, perfect sunset. And then I'm like, oh wait, maybe I am kind of good at this, right? And so I think it's being able to, in moments when I'm not loving the creation that's in front of me, but acknowledging like, hey, I still did this. I created this. And then using that as a point, right? Because what is old news. And so I can look at what is as this old news and I can say, okay, so now what is my next news going to be? Where is my next vibrational set point? You know, how do I play with that vibrational set point? I play with it through appreciation. I look up and I see the beautiful canyon seconds after I feel like a victim, and focusing on that canyon and then the other people around me, the fun being had, the food, the blah, 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 right? It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I did all of this. Yeah, I did that one little thing that's annoying, but I did all of it, all of the other pieces. So yeah.
Powerful recognition. Zoom out is a great concept that comes to mind. But even before I dig into that, I hear Abraham constantly saying, your emotions aren't in response to what's occurring. They're in response to what you're creating. So what is old news if you're looking at it and then vibrating to match it with a lower emotion. You're just regurgitating and recycling it.
Yeah.
It's a recognition and a complete openness and releasing of the present moment, almost like a line on the road. Like she says, you drive by all those lines on the road and you don't freak out about them. And all those trees on the road, why are you freaking out about this person or this circumstance in front of you? And realize wow, where I'm focused right now is creating my next moment. I can literally just drop the bag of now and shift and go in.
Yeah.
But the zoom out technique is phenomenal. If you recognize all of reality is just a matter of perspectives. That comedian you went to see, who's very funny,
Pete Holmes.
Pete Holmes. He has such a great video on Instagram where he's like, you think you're in the United States, zoom out. Like you're on this little globe, this little marble floating in the middle of nothing. And it's such a great way to refocus and recenter what is actually occurring here and put everything within perspective, literally through the perspective.
I love that. You know, and I think to bring it to some of the Joshua teachings, right? And he talks about perspective, and he talks about the idea of continuing to raise our perspective and looking at things from a higher and higher perspective. And I hadn't ever thought about his words in tangent with this idea of zooming out, but it does make a lot of sense in terms of, you know, all of creation is ours, right? All of it, the tiniest little atom to the universe, it's ours. It's cool.
Joshua is so great in his perspective approach by acknowledging that what you think you want might not actually be what you want. It might be attached to a limiting belief. Like the idea why most people want to be millionaires is because they're scared to end up homeless on the streets. And that might be more of the inspiration behind the idea of becoming a millionaire versus like the sheer fun and joy and ridiculousness of blowing money like crazy as you gallivant around the planet, right? Which are you envisioning it through? Making sure I have enough so I don't go homeless? Or wouldn't it be fun to get on a fucking private jet right now and blow money out the window? Like
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be. Yes. I am, though, brought to this idea, and I've never, ever heard a spiritual person say, you know, life is supposed to be with lots of money, right? People talk about abundance, right? People talk about fun. They talk about love. They talk about happiness, but it's never been about the tangible things or the tangible money. And so I quit my job over a year ago. Been doing a little bit of contracting work, and then I've been kind of having a little bit of like scarcity mentality come up, or some fear around like, am I falling behind because I'm not doing what I used to do? I'm not pushing my career forward, right? All these old 3D earthbound beliefs are kind of creeping in again. And if I look at all of the different consciousness teachings, nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about keeping up, right? Everybody's talking about, you know, follow your next highest excitement. Life is supposed to be fun, regardless of how much may or may not be in this made up illusionary bank account, or, you know, the stuff I may or may not have. And so I'm really starting to play with that idea. And it's funny you mentioned the idea of a private jet. Just 2 days ago, I booked a very last minute trip, and I paid $99 from SFO to LAX. And I literally, as I sat in my chair, I could see nobody else. That's how empty the plane was. And I literally had this thought of like, I've created a private jet for myself, right? For $99. Whatever. The price doesn't fucking matter. The fact is, like, I was on a private jet by myself, you know, a couple hours before I wanted to go from one place to another, and it works out. So it's, I think, focusing on the fun and the adventure, right? We are here to experience. We are emotional beings. I think the other pieces work itself out, you know?
That's such a great example in that idea the unknown will come in the most unexpected way. You conceptualize a private jet as this little thing, you go to a little airport, yada, yada, but the experience you had is arguably even better, but completely parallel to that of a private jet, and a really great example. Bashar's quote's coming to mind where he says, when you can do more with less, you can do less and get more. It's kind of that.
Ooh, I haven't heard that one. I love it.
Keeping stuff simple and recognizing I'm inspired and wanting to do this, but I don't have this piece to do it that way. Is there another way to do it, or another way to play? And realize, now that I've been road tripping for several weeks now, it is so amazing how few things I really like need. Now that I'm back at home in the condo, I'm realizing, like, look at all this space. Like, there's all this stuff in these drawers that I never like open or do anything with. And it's cool to settle into recognizing how little you actually need. And happiness is legitimately what we're all ultimately seeking. And we're so much time we spend seeking it through objects and people and circumstances, but it really is accessible within. And there's that idea of amplifying it through appreciation. Where awareness goes, energy flows. You start to appreciate. You can spin, or I practice spinning myself up and see how high I can get myself just on the thought, the focus.
It's true. True abundance is having what you need when you need it.
Hell yes.
Yeah. So
I feel good.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate this conversation.
Likewise.
I appreciate me for waking up and, dragging my butt out to the couch so we could do this.
Way to bring the quote full circle, because self-love is a pivotal element in there.
It's the key element. So.
And I appreciate your self-love.
Yeah. Oh, you know who else I appreciate?
Yes.
Coconut.
Instant happiness right here.
Yeah, right there. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Okay. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.